Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing details. Today we're discussing a watch launched in 2001 and made through 2007. An attempt at a full bracelet steel sports watch, including integration and hand finishing, the Piaget Upstream was decades ahead of its time. A rare steel watch from Piaget, the watch is extensively detailed, same as Piaget would on its precious metal dress models, but with unique engineering and style that sets it apart not just from Piaget's own watches, but from everything else in the integrated bracelet sports watch class. So the timepiece measures from side to side, if we're not including the shear guards and the crown, 33 millimeters. It is 9.4 millimeters thick, and there are two ways of measuring it. There's the lug-to-lug dimension of the case, and that is 40 millimeters. But if you measure the first bracelet link from side to side, so the first bracelet link on each side, you get a more representative 48.3 millimeter span across the wrist, and that should be considered the span across the wrist for practical purposes. Now, dropping down so you can see it on my wrist, you'll note that this watch works like nothing else, as Piaget obviated the clasp from the bracelet, so it's wonderfully symmetrical and silky. The clasp doesn't actually touch the wrist. It rides on top of the case, giving it a unique deployant action. You have that deployant strap security against accidental droppage, but you also have a unique operation that entirely cloaks the clasp. Most folks can't figure out how to open this watch. Now you can see it's very short across the wrist, and my wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference. You'll note it's a really good match. I can recommend it for a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters in circumference, so it's a viable unisex option. It is low slung like a Piaget should be. It is a thin watch with a 3.5 millimeter thick ultra thin automatic movement, so it slides underneath the dress cuff, but it also works well casually, as in steel and a full bracelet, the timepiece is designed to be sporty and casual if needed. Popping it open one more time, we'll take a look at the hardware. It is very impressive, starting with the bracelet. Piaget historically has not been set up to work with steel, so it did not do the fabrication of the steel upgrade models. It was a special arrangement with a supplier whereby you would get the clasp, you would get the case, you would get the bracelet, and then Piaget would hand finish all of the parts in-house. So it was a two-step process between the supplier providing the stainless steel hardware and then Piaget executing the finish on all of those components in-house. Taking a quick look at the bracelet, you'll note that there are intermediate links in a hobnail fashion. There are large primaries outboard, satin finishing on the flank and satin finishing across the top. The bracelet has a three-dimensional quality to it. Removable links are fixed in place by screws, which is exactly how a high horology watch should be put together. The Upstream with pin snaps built into the case. You can see these ball-bearing pin snaps. Those are what allow the bracelet clasp to snap into position, and you can hear it makes a nice crisp snap when you close it. It's a wonderfully precise system that's reminiscent, at least in its action, of something like the Tank Basculant. Taking a quick look at the profile, you can see that the details are exquisite, with a little bit of a shouldering in high polish, beveling by hand on the crown as well as the sheer shoulders and the edge of the bezel. The Upstream uses a custom typeface for the numerals, which are radially arrayed on the dial. It has a vertical satin grain in a light nickel anthracite. It's not super dark, but it is darker than gray and silver, certainly. The timepiece, of course, includes a wonderful cambered and faceted sapphire that arcs to trace the curvature of the case, and then you'll appreciate the fact that the watch does include both hacking seconds and a quick set date, and it is loomed. We may as well do a loom shot now. You could see a true sports watch, and that custom typeface developed just for the dial really pays dividends once the lights are off. The watch looks like nothing else. The case back advertises that the watch is 50 meters water resistant, and so it is. It uses a manufacturer Piaget automatic caliper, the 504P. Automatic winding, it has a 42-hour power reserve, hacking seconds, quick set date. It pivots away at 21,600 vibrations per hour, so it's a 3 hertz beat rate, and it's a 26 joule movement. It is a technically formidable and compact package that is quite small from side to side and top to bottom, making making this watch's proportions and outright dimensions possible. Reach out to me, Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com, for purchase and pricing details of the 2001 to 2007 hand-finished Piaget Upstream.